गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, in the last class we were reading the 26th shloka of 6th Adhyaya of Gita. This 26th shloka is, I read this shloka and then we were in the middle of this bhashyam. The shloka is like this: Yato yato nischarati manas chanchalam asthiram tatastato niyamyetat atmanyeva vasham nayet. The mind is so fickle, it is so vagrant, so it is always moving out. Yato yato nischarati, as and when it goes out, then tatastataha niyamya etat. Then and there you have to control it, you have to stop it, you have to bring it back, you have to pull it back and then pull it back and keep it in the control of the Atma. Atmanyeva vasham nayet. Keep it back in the Atman. So that is what is the shloka which I explained in the last class, because we are seeing the context of say a sannyasi, a person who has renounced all karmas, and then who is that is a person who has graduated from the karma yoga, who is in the process of dhyana yoga, and in the process of dhyana yoga he is getting that jnana prapti. Jnana prapti is also there. Dhyana yoga itself will not lead you to moksha. Dhyana yoga itself is not leading to moksha without jnana, without this nididhyasanam, without the contemplation on this Vedanta vakyas. So only when he does that nididhyasanam, only then that jnana prapti will be there. And dhyana yoga is a sort of vehicle for that nididhyasana. So that is where we are. And in that process, we are seeing the regulation of the mind. So we are in this line, manaha nirgachati swabhava doshat manaha chanchalam atyartham chalam atayeva asthiram. Swabhava doshat manaha chalam. Swabhava doshat means the very nature of mind, the very nature, swabhava, the very nature or the very swabhava of mind is to move out and seek external objects. And then when it goes out, atyartham chalam, it is too much vagrant, it is just moving out always. Atayeva asthiram, that is why it is called asthiram. Asthiram is not stable in one thing, not stable in one place. We read up to this point. Tatastataha tasmat shabdadehe Shabdadehe nimittat niyamya. Tatastataha means from those things, as and when it goes out, then and there you have to pull it back. So that is how it is. Then and there, tatastataha tasmat shabdadehe. So mind goes after something, the sense objects. The sense objects means shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, the 5 type of sense objects. So what shabda adehe means sound and so on, sound etc. etc. includes all the 5 types of sense objects. Shabdadehe nimittat niyamya tattan nimittam. And how are we supposed to control? That is yathatmya nirupanena abhasi krutya. This is the important line. Yathatmya nirupanena abhasi krutya. You have to make it appear that it is just an appearance. It is just an abhasa. Abhasa is just an appearance and not a reality. How? Yathatmya nirupanena. You have to prove its real nature. Yathatmyam. That is yatha tasya atma asti tatha. That is yathatmyam. Whatever is its reality, you have to establish its reality. Establishing its reality is what is called yathatmya nirupanam. Because we see that Vedanta talks in, it tells about a twofold effort. One is what we have seen hitherto, that is physically restraining oneself, sitting somewhere and then establishing oneself in some asana and then asana, pranayama, all these things. That is the physical aspect of it, where physically you get into certain postures, physically you will try to regulate the mind. So there is a conscious effort to regulate the mind by regulating the body. So that is one angle. The second is dosha darshanam, that is yathatmya nirupanam, that is establishing its reality. That is, how is it possible? That is only possible by reasoning. So in Vedanta we see 2 levels. One is that physical effort, the other is that mental component. Mental component means you start analyzing. You start analyzing the problem. You start analyzing the issues. Who am I? Like we are seeing a book here. Who am I? Who is the person? What exactly is the nature of mind? When I say I, to whom am I referring? Am I referring to my mind? Am I referring to my body? Or am I referring to that whole body-mind complex? Or am I referring to my senses? Or there is something called ego, that self, which, so am I referring to myself? And who is it that is behind all these things? So this sort of, say, journey into the inner world, from the outer world, a sort of journey into the inner world, that is Atma Vichara. That Atma Vichara, when it goes on, then you realize that this is the mind itself. Then Vedanta says the mind itself is a jada. Jada is an inert thing. Mind itself cannot produce consciousness. Mind itself cannot produce intelligence. Mind is only reflecting the consciousness. It is just called a Chidabhasa. Chit means intelligence. Chidabhasa. It is just an appearance of that intelligence. And then how this jada also has come. And this jada itself is a sort of appearance in that Chetana. Appearance in that, what is this consciousness? So it is a sort of Vivarta. Vivarta means just an appearance in that Chetana. And then in this Vivarta, again this modification of mind is called what is called Kama, Krodha and all these things. This is just a sort of some Chitta Vritti, as we call it. Chitta Vritti means it is a mental state. It is a mental mode. So it is a sort of modification of that mind is called Chitta Vritti. So both are Jada. Chitta Vritti is also Jada and mind also is Jada. So this sort of analysis takes place at a different level. So physical aspect is one thing and the intellectual aspect is another thing. This intellectual aspect is required here for Yathatmya Nirupanam. Yathatmya Nirupanam, then the meaning given is by Anandagiri. Anandagiri says Dosha Darshanena. Dosha Darshanena means by recognizing how faulty they are, how incorrect they are. What we see as a thing is something which is incorrect, something which is unreal. So this sort of dosha darshanena, abhasi krutya means you have to make it up, you have to know that it is just an appearance. Abhasa is an appearance. Abhasi krutya means you have to make it an appearance means we are not physically making it an appearance, we are only realizing that it is an abhasa. Abhasi krutya does not mean that you are making it an appearance, abhasa. It is already an abhasa and you are realizing it. And then abhasi krutya vairagya bhavanayacha. Then this vairagya also is required. When you know the reality of a thing, you will automatically develop vairagya. You will not develop vairagya as long as you do not see the reality. Suppose you are in a film. When you are a child, you get excited. A villager gets excited by the film and then he really feels that the hero is doing all those actions and then the heroine is really doing all those actions and then the heroine is really crying and then little knowing that the heroine is either crying or dancing for the sake of some money. So he doesn't realize, and he also does not realize that what he sees on a screen is just only a light, some concentrated light pixels which are falling in a particular pattern and creating a particular image. So pixels only create a particular pattern and create an image. So this, suppose he knows that there is nothing on the screen, you are just sitting here and then you are listening to some music and then some sort of appearance there on the screen, some light which falls on the screen, you will not get involved in that. So then you will realize you will not cry in a movie. A villager may cry, a child may cry, but then you and I, we don't cry in movies. So like that, dosha nirupanena abhasi krutya. You are not making it an abhasa, it is already an abhasa. You have to only realize it, you have to only understand it. And then this vairagya bhavana. Vairagya is, you are not getting attached to that. Vigataha ragaha, that is vairagyam. Raga is attachment. That is vairagya. That is, you are realizing that all these things are vairagya bhavana. Also, one commentator has given 2-3 qualities. That is, knowing that it is impermanent. That is, whatever you see that is impermanent. Then whatever we see is a satishaya. Satishaya is relative. Satishaya versus niratishaya. This we have to remember. Satishaya is, suppose you see one thing today. You see some, some good thing today. Tomorrow in the market there are much better things coming in the market. You see some good car today, let us say, good model. Then tomorrow you will get a better model. After 10 years you will get much better model. So this is a sort of relative thing. So this number one is impermanent. Number 2, it is what is this? Satishaya. That is, say, relative only. And then it is finally leading you to some more and more greed and more ambition, misery, etc. So with this analysis, you have to make it, you have to get into this Vairagya mode. So that is what he says. Abhasikrutya Vairagya Bhavanayacha Yetan Manaha Atmanyeva Vasyam Nayet Atma Vashyatam Apadayet. You have to bring it under control. So that is what he says. Then Evam Yogabhyasa Balat Yoginaha Atmanyeva Prashamyati Manaha. So this Yogabhyasa Balat, this is also important. This is yoga is something, this is not a one-day affair or 2 days affair. There is a continuous need for abhyasa. And there is a need for continuous abhyasa. Abhyasa is, you have to be around that only. Abhi plus asa. Asa to be. Abhi just around. You be around it, you be with it only. That is abhyasa. That is, you have to be constantly at it. That is what is called abhyasa. Yoga abhyasa balat. That abhyasa only will give you that strength. And then only with that strength, that Atmanyeva Prashamyati Manaha, mind that gets Prashamyati, means it gets, cool, or rather it gets tranquil in oneself. It will not go out. Prashamyati means it will not go out. That Manas Chanchalam, which is fickle mind, which is going about here and there, that will not go out, and then it will stay back. So even if he sees something, he will know that it is something, it is something which is not worthy. It is not worthy of looking at it. Sankalpa is that say fancying some high value around a thing, isn't it? So that sankalpa itself drops off. So sankalpa itself drops off, and he sees that yathatmya. He sees its reality, and then he will not get tempted by that. So that is it. Then Prashanta Manasam. So next shloka we have to read. Prashanta Manasam Hyenam Yoginam Sukhamuttamam Upaiti Shantarajasam Brahmabhutamakalmasham. So here now we are seeing what is the result or what is the overall effect of this sort of controlling of this mind, and then what is the effect of this dhyana. So here number one aspect is you are consciously controlling the mind. Number 2, you are also doing dhyana. So when you are doing this dhyana, what is happening to you? That result is being described in the next 4 shlokas. We are going to see what is the result of this dhyana. Then Prashanta Manasam Hi Yenam Yoginam Sukham Uttamam Upaiti Shantarajasam Brahmabhutam Akalmasham. So this shloka refers to a particular person, and there are 4 or 5 adjectives given to that particular person, and then at the end the result is told. What is the result? Yoginam, to that yogi, Sukham Upaiti. Uttamam Sukham. Sukham Uttamam is Uttamam Sukham Upaiti. That is, that highest Sukha, the highest Ananda comes to him, that highest bliss, the highest bliss comes to him. Upa plus eti, upaiti means approaches, it comes to him. Yeah, that is, he attains it. So that in other words, he attains it. That is the person, that is the structure of the sentence. Yoginam sukham uttamam upaiti. That is sukham, the highest pleasure comes to the person, comes to that yogi. And what are the adjectives for that yogi? Prashanta Manasaha, Prashanta Manaha, that is one whose mind is actually under control. Prashanta here actually means Vritti Nirodha, all types of Vritti, all types of mental modifications, they have been stopped. So the mind is something like a lake where those no question of any wave. The waves on a water body, they are something like these Vrittis. So suppose there are absolutely no waves, no breeze, no air. So there the lake is so tranquil, so cool, so serene. So that is what is compared to the mind, Prashanta Manas. Then Prashanta Manasam Hi Yenam Yoginam. Then the another adjective is Shanta Rajasam. Rajas we know. There are 2 meanings for Rajas. Rajas, one meaning is dust. Another meaning is Rajoguna. Rajas actually is dust, dirt, dust. Then Rajoguna is another meaning. Shanta Rajasam. That is, all this dust has settled in his mind, the dust has settled. All the dust which was there in his mind, it has settled down, or rather it has disappeared. Shanta Rajasa, that means it is not that his mind is, it has accumulated dust, it does not mean that. All the dust which was there in his mind, it has just settled down and that it has been removed, it has been say evacuated or evicted. So that is the meaning, Shanta Rajasam, that is one meaning. The other meaning is this Rajoguna. Rajoguna is what impels a man, what propels a man into activity, into pravrutti. Pravrutti is activity, going out and then seeking things. Rajoguna means it also implies Sattva and Tamoguna. Not only we should refer not only to Rajoguna, we should, it is a Rajoguna word is only suggestive of other things too. Suggestive of Sattva Guna and also Tamoguna. That is, this man should go beyond Sattva and Tamoguna also, all the three gunas. Because in the earlier also we have seen Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistraigunyo Bhava Arjuna. We saw it earlier. Nistraigunyo Bhava. That is, you go beyond these three gunas, go beyond this Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, all the three. Because Sattva Guna also, it is again Badhnati. Sattva Guna also, what is this Sattva Guna? You have nice ideas in your mind. So I have to donate so and so money for this noble cause. So I have to build some temple. I have to build some sort of say rest house for all the people who pass by. And then I have to say dig a well, provide water to the villagers. So these are all good ideas. Vapi, Kupa, Tatakadi, all these things. These are all Sattva Guna. Or I have to promote study of Sanskrit, things like this. I have to promote study of Gita. So you do all these things, and then again you are having that Sattva Guna also has some sort of desire. It is also not devoid of desire, isn't it? While doing a noble action, you also expect some punya. So Sattva Guna is also a bondage. So that is why Upaiti Shantarajasam we should also say understand that it is not only Rajoguna which we have to drive away. We have to drive away the Sattva and the Tamoguna also. So that man, Prashantamana is number one, Shanta Raja is another gentleman, because all types of Vikshepa, all types of disturbance, all types of Vikshepa, the word we know, Vikshepa is disturbance, moving about, mind getting tossed about. So that sort of Vikshepa is only possible by this Rajoguna. Rajoguna doesn't allow a man to keep idle, it just propels a man into activity. So that is why this Shanta Raja is another thing. Then Brahma Bhutam. The third thing is Brahma Bhutaha. That is, this man, he has become a Jivan Mukta. Brahma Bhuta, that is, he has become Brahma. That is how Sri Lord Krishna is qualifying this particular stage. Because he has reached such a stage where he has all the Kalmasha has gone and he is just remaining as consciousness, pure Sat, Chit and Ananda. Then Akalmasha. Akalmasha again is referring to removal of all dirt. Kalmasham is dirt. Kalmasham is any type of dirt, some type of mud which sticks onto you. So Akalmasha is there is nothing which sticks onto you. That is either dharma or adharma. Dharma also sticks onto you. Adharma also sticks onto you. How? By producing punarjanma. Dharma also produces punarjanma. Like we said, all this you said do some drinking water supply, you build temples, you build schools, etc. All these things. When they are done with an intention of getting punya. If they are done as karma yoga, it is okay. They will not give you result. If they are not done as karma yoga, if they are done with the idea of karma, with the idea of punya only, then they are also binding. One is a golden chain and another is an iron chain. So this dharma and adharma, these both the things, they are called kalmasha. So akalmasham is somebody who has gone beyond this kalmasha, dharma and adharma. So these four adjectives are there for this yogi. That is, one is Prashanta Manas, then one who is a Shanta Rajas, whose all the dust in his mind has just settled down or eradicated and he has gone beyond the three gunas. Then Brahma Bhuta, he has reached that stage. And then Akalmasha, he has gone beyond this dharma and adharma. So to such a man, Sukham Uttamam Upaiti, that highest bliss comes to him. So that is the meaning of this shloka. Let us read the Bhashya. Is the shloka clear?
Yes.
The word is, the first sentence is Prashanta Manasam He Yenam. Yenam means this man. He is smart because. Let us read the Bhashyam. Prashanta Manasam Prashantam Mano Yasya Sa Prashanta Manaha Tam Prashanta Manasam. So the word here is, the Prathama Vibhakti word is Prashanta Manaha. Dvitiya Vibhakti is Prashanta Manasam. Prashanta Manaha, Prashanta Manasam. Prashanta Mana, I explained that word. He Yenam Yoginam Sukham Uttamam Niratishayam Upaiti Upagachati. So Sukham Uttamam Niratishayam Upaiti Upagachati. That is, Sukham Uttamam, that highest Sukham, Upaiti Upagachati, that comes to him. What is that? Niratishayam. Atishaya means something which exceeds something else. So something which excels something else. Atishaya. Niratishaya means there is nothing which can excel it. Niratishaya. Nis plus Atishaya. There is nothing which can excel it. That is, we were just talking about this Satishaya and Niratishaya. Ananda, all types of Ananda, all types of bliss is something which is Satishaya. Whatever Vishayananda we talk about, Vishayananda is, that is the Ananda or the happiness which we get from the enjoyment of objects. It is just fleeting. It is for a fleeting moment. It is just temporary. Whereas Brahmananda is not temporary. Brahmananda is not something which you are experiencing as an individual. You are in that state. You are Ananda yourself. You are the very nature of Ananda. You are not experiencing Brahma as an object. Brahmananda does not mean that you are experiencing Brahma like an ice cream. You taste an ice cream and then say you are happy. Brahmananda does not mean that you are tasting Brahma as an ice cream and then that permanent happiness is there. It's not like that. You are the very nature of happiness. So that is the meaning of that Brahmananda. So this is Vishayananda is something which is temporary, whereas Brahmananda is something which is say the very nature of Ananda. Then Vishayananda is something which is Satishaya. Just now we took the example of a car. Today you have got a BMW car, tomorrow you will get some other Rolls Royce, another day you will get a much better vehicle. There is always a Satishaya, there is in comparison, there is a degree of comparison. But in this Niratishaya Ananda, there is no degree of comparison. That is something which is supreme. So that sort of Ananda he gets. Then Shanta Rajasam Prakshina Mohadi Klesha Rajasam Ityarthaha. So Shanta Rajasam. For this word Rajas, Shankaracharya is saying that is Prakshina Mohadi Klesha. Moha is a Klesha. Moha is what? Oh, this is mine. Oh, my son, my children, my daughter, my things, my house, my this thing. That is all Moha. And that Moha goes when suddenly sometime one fine morning your son says, "Oh, stop man, old man, I know enough, don't try to advise me." When your son says that, then suddenly you get shaken and then that moha is gone. So what all wisdom reading of Gita cannot give, a small conversation from your children, it will give you. When the children say, "Stop man, stop talking, you know much, you don't talk much." So when your son says that, all that moha will go. So of course here we are not talking about that sort of encounter with say some unpleasant encounter. We are talking about say due to wisdom that moha is gone. So we learn two ways. One is the hard way and one is the intelligent way. The hard way is like a fool, you go and then you get beaten and then you learn a lesson. The other intelligent way is you see how others are getting beaten and then you watch them and then learn from them. So the two ways. Whatever are the ways, let us presume that here we are not talking about the other way, hard way. We are talking about the intelligent way, where this man, by understanding, by proper wisdom, he realizes that it is all he discards that moha. He gets over that moha. So moha can be got over two ways. That is, one way is the hard way and one is the intelligent way. So here Prakshida Mohadi Klesha. Moha is a sort of Klesha. Klesha is something which afflicts the mind. Klesha means, well, it is an affliction. It afflicts the mind. It tortures the mind. So Patanjali Yoga gives a definition for this klesha. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha, Pancha Klesha. There is a sutra, Yoga Sutra, which says Avidya. The first thing is Avidya, that is ignorance in the normal terms, but the real meaning of what is the actual meaning of ignorance? Perceiving something as something else, perceiving unreal as real, perceiving, thinking that all these relationships are true and eternal and whatnot. That is avidya. Asmita, the I feeling, I, that is asmita. Then raga, we know raga and dvesha. Then abhinivesha. Abhinivesha is I hold on to a particular doctrine and I feel that my doctrine or my boss or my whatever my religious text is the highest thing and nothing else is there. So that is abhinivesha, that is sticking on to one's own point and not listening to other man's point of view, not seeing the truth at all. You shut your doors to truth and then you only stick on to one book. So that is again abhinivesha. So that is, these are the mental afflictions. That is what Patanjali says. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha, Pancha Klesha, these 5 types. We can't, any type of klesha you get, you can bring it under these 5 only, five heads only. So this is a type of klesha. What is this? Moha is a klesha. Moha is due to raga. Raga is attachment. Attachment, only when there is an attachment, then this moha comes. Moha means, oh, this is mine, I have to do this, I can't stay without that. So that type of feeling is that moha. Moha the klesha rajasam. That thing is prakshina. Prakshina means it has totally become extinct. Prakshina means that is prakarshena kshina. That is totally become extinct. It has become that sort of rajas, that sort of dust, that sort of impurity has totally become extinct in his mind. So that is it. Then Brahma Bhutam. Jivan Muktam Brahmaiva Sarvam Ityevam Nishchayavantam Brahma Bhutam Akalmasham Dharma Dharmadi Varjitam. So he says Brahma Bhutam. Shankaracharya himself says Brahma Bhuta means Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta means while being alive the man is enlightened. The meaning of enlightenment is, that is, you have thrown away all the burdens of the mind. You have become light. Your mind has become light. Enlightenment actually, literally what does it mean? Somebody who has thrown out all the weights and then become light is enlightenment, isn't it? So something like that. Metaphorically, you have to see this enlightenment as that jnana, where you have thrown off all the bonds. You have just thrown off, discarded all the bonds. You have discarded all types of attachment. Whatever, of course, we are now talking of a sannyasi. We are not talking about a gruhastha. A gruhastha, what is the duty of a gruhastha? It does not mean that a gruhastha has to stick on to these things. A gruhastha, he is supposed to emulate, he is supposed to imitate, he is supposed to imbibe some characteristics of this sannyasi. While having these things around, of course, sannyasi totally abandons all these things. But a gruhastha cannot abandon because he has got a gruhastha dharma. So, Gruhastha, while having all these things, he should have that Vairagya Bhavana. So, that is where we are. We are talking at 2 levels. Vedanta actually talks at 2 levels. One for a sannyasi, who is projected as the role model for the society, because the society has to imbibe some good values from him. And the second level is that of a Gruhastha, who has to follow that man, who has to imitate that man, emulate the good conduct of that particular man. So, here, Jivan Mukta is a person who has abandoned, who has given up all those attachments, all those bonds. So that is how he becomes totally released. The meaning of Mukta is what? Mukta, totally released from all the bonds. So that is it. Then Brahmaiva Sarvam Ityevam Nishayavantam Brahma Bhutam. So that sort of understanding he is having. What is understanding? Brahmaiva Sarvam Ityevam Nishchayavantam. And he sees Brahman everywhere. So that is what we have seen earlier shlokas also we have seen. He sees everything as Brahman only. Then Akalmasham Dharma Dharmadi Varjitam. Akalmasha. Kalmasha is, as we just said, Kalmasha is something which stains you, which sticks to you, something like a mud, like the mud. So and then this Kalmasham is Dharma Radharma because they are binding in nature. Bandhakatvat Kalmashatvam. That is, bandhakatvam is there. Bandhakatvam is, it has the nature of binding. It has the nature of binding you to a punarjanma. Binding means binding you to a punarjanma. So that is how it is kalmasham. So once you wash off that kalmasham, then there is no punarjanma. So that is it. Akalmasham dharma adi varjitam. So okay. Then what about this dharma and adharma? Should we not follow at all? We are talking, as I said, we are talking about a sannyasi who has gone beyond that. But whereas a gruhastha, at a transactional level, at a vyavaharika satta level, he has to follow this dharma, say, he should be working in that particular matrix only. He can't go beyond the dharma matrix, dharma matrix. A gruhastha, he cannot go beyond. We are now talking about a totally renounced person, isn't it? Okay. Then next shloka. There is no avatarika for this. Let us read the shloka. Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashah sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnute. So this is again describing the effect, describing the result, the phalam of that dhyana yoga. Dhyana yoga coupled with jnana. Dhyana yoga which has resulted in jnana prapti. So then what is that? This shloka also is describing that sort of brahma samsparsham sukham ashnute. In the earlier shloka also we read uttamam sukham upaiti. In this shloka also he is saying brahma samsparsham atyantam sukham ashnute. So that is what he says. Then let us see the shloka. Yunjan evam sada atmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha. The words has to be split like this. Yunjan evam sada atmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukham ashnute. Ashnute means attains. Then you see these words. Evam means in this manner. Yunjan evam. Evam means in this manner. Yunjan. Yunjan means applying oneself, making effort, continue to make efforts. Yunjan, applying oneself, not a one-time effort, as I said. It is a continuous thing. Abhyasa, just be at it. That is it. Abhyasa actually means abhi plus asa. Just be on it, be at it. Then evam yunjan sada atmanam. So he has to keep his mind like that. He has to keep his mind in that Brahma consciousness. Sada, always. Atmanam yunjan, applying oneself to the Atma, in that Atma only. Then vigata kalmashaha, again all this kalmasha, all this dirt has gone, all this rajas, all this has gone. Then sukhena, sukhena means easily, brahma samsparsham. Brahma samsparsha means sparsha. We know what is sparsha. Sparsha is the feeling of touch. Sparsha. Samsparsha. That is, sam is only an upasarga. Sam plus sparsha, sparsha. That is, Brahma samsparsha means that is sparsha with Brahma. That is Brahma tadatmyam. You become Brahman. Brahma tadatmyam means you become that, tat atma. That bhava is called tadatmyam. So that is why you become Brahma. Brahma samsparsham, that is Brahma tadatmyam. That is that feeling of unity with the Brahman. Like the wave realizing that it is not the wave but it is the ocean. So that is it. So, atyantam sukham ashnute. Atyantam, that is the highest sukham. Ashnute. Ashnute means attains. So that is the shloka. Shloka is very simple. Let us read the bhashyam. Yunjan iti. Yunjan evam. Yathoktena kramena. Yogi. Yogantaraya varjitaha. Sada atmanam yunjan. Vigata kalmashaha vigata papaha. Sukhena anayasena. Brahma samsparsham. Brahmana parena samsparshaha. Yasya tat brahma samsparsham. Sukham atyantam. Antam atitya vartate iti atyantam. Utkrishtam niratishayam. Ashnute vyapnoti. So in one long line, Shankaracharya has given the meaning, because all these words have come earlier also. So that is why he has not given any fresh meanings, because all these words have earlier come. Yunjan evam means yathoktena kramena, in the above said manner. Yathoktena kramena means in the above said manner. Yunjan means by applying himself, by yoking himself to that particular state of mind. Yogi means yogantaraya varjitaha. Antaraya means a vighna, that is an obstacle. In this yoga, there is no obstacle. And what are these obstacles? Obstacles are the same kleshas which we saw in the earlier shloka. Klesha is raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. These are all the kleshas. So all these kleshas, the klesha varjitaha, that is one who is devoid of all these disturbing factors. These disturbing factors called asmita, avidya, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, all these disturbing factors. He is devoid of all these disturbing factors. Then sada atmanam yunjan. Always he is yoked to that atma consciousness only, that Brahma consciousness only. And then vigata kalmashaha, vigata papaha. That is all this kalmasha, all this staining, all the impurities, they have been, he is devoid of all these impurities. Then sukhena means anayasena, without any difficulty. Then brahma samsparsham, brahmana parena samsparsham, that is yasya tat brahma samsparsham. Brahmana parena means Parabrahma. What is Parabrahma and what is Aparabrahma? Parabrahma means Supreme Brahma. Aparabrahma means the transactional level Brahma, that is the creator level Brahma. So Brahmana Parena means that is with the Supreme Brahma, Samsparshaha, that is Tadatmyam. That Tadatmyam itself is Brahma Samsparsham. That Brahma Samsparsham. Sukham Atyantam is Antam Atitya Vartate. That is nothing, there is nothing beyond that. There is nothing beyond that. That sort of sukham is that is atyantam sukham. Utkrustam, niratishayam. This word niratishaya also I just now explained. Satishaya, niratishaya, I just explained. Ashnute vyapunoti. So he attains that type of sukha. Then let us read the next shloka. Then sarva bhutasthamaatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. So he is again telling the same, he is continuing the result of this dhyana yoga, continuing to say about the result, that is sarvabhutastham atmanam sarvabhutani chatmani. What type of vision or what type of perception such a man will be having, such a yogi, what type of perception, what type of understanding he will have. So a normal man will have that perception of duality, that is you and me, that is the perception of duality. So here it is a perception of non-duality which is being described in this shloka. Of course, not the result, not the, I just told you this is the result. Result has been told in the earlier two shlokas, that is 27th and 28th and also 26th. We saw the type of sukham which a jnani is going to get. So here it is not about the sukham, it is describing the jnani's attitude, jnani's understanding, jnani's perception of things, his understanding of things. So what type of view does he have? It is a perception of non-duality. That is what let us see. Sarva bhutastham atmanam. That is atmanam, that is oneself. Sarva bhutastham, that is seeing oneself as indwelling in all things. Sarva bhutastham. Sarva bhuta means all being. Sarva bhutastham, that is dwelling in all things. Atmanam, so he sees himself as dwelling in all things. How we will see? Sarva bhutastham atmanam. Then sarva bhutani cha atmani. Then all the beings are in him. Atmani, in oneself. He is seeing all beings in oneself. If we say these things to a person who is not exposed to Vedanta, he will only laugh at us. So now that we have seen 5 chapters of Gita, we will be able to appreciate and we will be able to sit through. Otherwise, a person who is listening to this afresh, he will feel that it is something nonsensical. Because seeing all things in oneself and then seeing himself in all things, so that is something which is inscrutable for a person who is not exposed to Vedanta. Then Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma. This Yoga Yuktatma, then the person whose mind has become tranquil with this yoga, whose mind has become tranquil again is a wrong word, because tranquility can also be attained by medicines. There are certain things called tranquilizers, isn't it? So tranquility is also not correct. Yukta is something which is a balanced, let us say, mind with equanimity. So Yukta, Samahita, that mind which is in that state of Samadhi. So that sort of Yukta, Yuktatma, Ikshate. Ikshate means sees. Ikshate. Ikshanam is seeing. The act of seeing is Ikshanam. Ikshate means he sees. Then Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. He is the one who sees, who has that Samadarshana, that equal vision. That is one who is seeing Brahman everywhere. Sama, the meaning of Sama is, we saw Sama meaning of Sama is Brahman. Shunichaiva Shwapakecha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. And the next, the subsequent sloka also said Sama means Brahma. Brahma Darshanaha. So he is one person who is seeing unity everywhere, who is seeing one Brahman everywhere, who is totally, with a total sense of disinterestedness. Disinterestedness is something, not uninterestedness, but disinterestedness. One who is equal to all, one whose mind is in equanimity. So these are all the things which we have to see here. So this type of vision, this is the vision of a jnani. Then let us see is the shloka clear?
Yes.
Atmanam sarva bhutastham. Then Atmani Sarva Bhutani, he sees all beings in him. Then Yoga Yuktatma Ikshate, he sees. Why? Sarvatra Samadarshanaha, because he is Samadarshanaha. He is one who is capable of seeing Brahman everywhere. Samadarshanaha. Let us see the Bhashyam. Idanim Yogasya Yat Phalam Brahmaikatva Darshanam Sarva Samsara Vicheda Karanam Tat Pradarsyate. So this vision, this type of perception is also that phalam. Shankaracharya says, this type of vision, this type of improved vision, let us say, this type of enlightened vision, enlightened understanding, this is also the phalam. This is also the result of that yoga. Yogasya phalam. What is that yogasya phalam? Brahmaikatva darshanam. Brahma ekatva darshanam. That is, Brahman alone is there and nothing else is there. Brahmanaha ekatvam. That is Brahmaikatvam. Brahmanaha ekatvam means Brahma alone is there and nothing else is there. What else is appearing is only a manifestation of Brahman. So that is that Brahmaikatva darshanam. Sarva samsara vicheda karanam. So this type of darshanam, this type of understanding. Darshana means not physically seeing. Darshana is understanding. Darshanam, not physically seeing. In normal sense, when we say drushti, it is seeing. But here darshana, when we say, it is understanding, awareness. This type of awareness is what? Sarva samsada vicheda karanam. This is the karanam, or the cause for sarva samsara vicheda. Vicheda means just cutting off. Cutting off, vichedanam. Cutting off what? Sarva samsara. All this samsara is, this is a cycle of birth and death. That is what is called samsara. So that is cut off. That you are cutting off because we are cutting off all your raga, dvesha, etc. Then your Brahmaikatva darshana, when it is there is a perception of non-duality. In such a state, then there is no question of samsara. Samsara is only at the level of maya. Then tat pradarsyate, that is being shown here. That is being pradarsyate means demonstrated. The actual meaning is that is being demonstrated. Pradarshana is showing, demonstrating. That pradarsyate means that is being demonstrated here. What is this? Sarva bhutastham sarveshu bhuteshu sthitam swam atmanam sarva bhutani cha atmani brahmadini stamba paryantani cha sarva bhutani atmani ekatam gatani Ikshate pashyati yoga yuktatma samahitantah karanaha sarvatra samadarshanaha sarveshu brahmadi stavaranteshu vishameshu sarvabhuteshu samam nirvishesham brahmatmaikatva vishayam brahmatmaikatva vishayam darshanam jnanam yasya sa sarvatra samadarshanaha. So this is again a very long sentence. Shankaracharya has finished off the whole Bhashyam in one long line because these words are also which have come earlier. Sarva bhutastham sarveshu bhuteshu sthitam. Then how is it that you are going to be in all things? So this again we have to see how sarva bhutani cha atmani. This is also says. Then what exactly is the upadana? What exactly is the material cause for all things? When I say that I am in all beings, which means I am the material cause for all things. When I say that I am in this pot, which means that I should be the material cause for this pot. When I say all the bhutas, all the beings are in me, I should be the material cause for all the beings. Then sarva bhutani cha atmani. Then all those things are also in me. Then the material cause of all the things which we see outside and what we see as myself, this is the material cause is one and the same. And what is that material cause? Upadana Karanam is not Brahma, it is the Maya. Brahma is not the Upadana. Brahma is not the Upadana for the world, it is the Maya which is the Upadana. Maya, from this Maya only, Atmanaha Akasha Sambhutaha Akashad Vayuhu Vayor Agnihi, Agnerapah, etc., etc., etc. Brahma is not the Upadanam, it is the Maya, it is the Upadanam for all these things. Then this Upadanataya Sthitam, that is the point which this this Jnani understands. Only when he understands that, only then he can say that all things are in me and I am in all things. Because the same Upadana, the same Maya is there in you, the same Upadana is there in all the beings. It is like a wave thinking that, okay, this whale is in me. This whale is much bigger than a small wave. But the wave, he realizes that it is nothing but the ocean. So it is like the ocean telling that all these things is in me. So like that. So this Upadana Karanam, that is what we have to see. How exactly all things can be in me. It is only when the Upadanam or the material cause is same for all the things. And the material cause for all these things is Maya, not Brahma. So that is what he says. That is what he sees. That type of perception. And that is going to give you that realization that all the things are in you and you are in all the things. Sarveshu bhuteshu sthitam swam atmanam. That is oneself staying in all the other things. And then sarva bhutani cha atmani. Sarva bhutani, all the beings are in you. Then brahmadini stamba paryantani cha. And then starting from Brahma. Brahma means not the Parabrahma. You are talking, whenever we use the word Brahmadi Stamba Paryanta, we are not referring to the Supreme Brahman. This is a standard phrase. What is that standard phrase? Brahmadi Stamba Paryantani. Brahma, we are talking about the Creator Brahma. The Creator Brahma is again a manifestation in the Supreme Consciousness. This we should never forget. This Creator Brahma, we call him Vishnu, Shiva, any other name, any other name of whoever can be defined by religion, whoever can be defined by any text as the creator, preserver, destroyer, etc., etc., etc. So that sort of Brahma is referred to here. Brahmadi Stamba Paryantani. Stamba is a small blade of grass. So up to all these things, right from that till down, all these things, Sarva Bhutani, Atmani Ekatam Gatani, these are all one and the same. That unity, principle of unity is there. Ekatam Gatani, that idea of unity, that principle of unity is there. Ikshate Pashyati, Yoga Yuktatma Samahita Antahkaranaha. That is a person whose mind is in that type of samadhi, who is having that particular perception. So that is Samahita Antahkaranaha. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Sarveshu Brahmadi Stavaranteshu Vishameshu Sarvabhuteshu. Vishameshu. Vishama means Sama, the opposite of Sama is Vishama. Sama is equal. Vishama is unequal. Sama is equal, Vishama is unequal. These objects appear to be unequal, appear to be totally different. This tree is something different, house is something different. Then similarly an elephant is something different. I can't say that the elephant is in me. So unless I have that vision of non-duality, I cannot say that the tree is in me or the house is in me or I am in the tree or I am in that elephant. I cannot say. Then Vishameshu Sarvabhuteshu, all these beings are Vishama. They are totally divergent. They are totally so different and so divergent. Then Sarvabhuteshu Samam Nirvishesham Brahma Brahmatmaikatva Vishayam. Nirvishesham. Nirvishesham is another important word. Vishesha is what? Vishesha is a peculiarity or a speciality. Vishesha is an adjective. Actually, Visheshanam is something like a Vishesha. Vishesha and Visheshanam are one and the same. Visheshya is something different. Visheshana, Visheshya is different. Visheshya is something which is qualified. Visheshanam is that which qualifies. Vishesha is a characteristic. Vishesha means a characteristic. So, Nirvishesham, there is no characteristic. There is nothing which, say, a sort of characteristic cannot be attributed to Brahman. Brahman is something where, which is beyond Maya, and all the manifestations are only within the realm of this Maya. So, when Brahman is beyond that, so no question of attributing any type of Vishesha to that Brahman. So, that is the meaning here. So, Nirvishesham Brahmatmaikatva Vishayam Darshanam Jnanam. So, that sort of darshanam, that sort of understanding. So, Shankaracharya also is giving the meaning Darshanam Jnanam, so that we don't misunderstand. Darshanam means Jnanam. Darshana is understanding. Yasya Saha Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. So, here again this Madhusudana has written a lot of commentary, say starting, taking from this Yoga Shastra and other things, but of course I have not gone into that. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha, that is one who has that ability to see Brahman in all things. So let's next. Etasya Atmaikatva Darshanasya Phalam Uchyate. So for this Atmaikatva Darshanam Phalam Uchyate. For this Atmaikatva Darshanam is, that is the ability to see Brahman alone. Ability to see Atmaikatvam, Brahmaikatvam is, that is only Atma you are seeing. Atma and Brahma are being equated here. You see, in the earlier line, we saw what is this? Brahmatmaikatva Vishayam. Then here we are seeing Atmaikatva Darshanam, which means this Atma, what we call Atma, is the same as Brahma. So, Atmaikatva Darshanasya Phalam Uchyate. What is the Phalam, or what is the result of that? Let us read the shloka. Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam cha Mayi Pashyati Tasyaham na Pranashyami Sacha na Pranashyati. The words in this shloka are also very simple. Yaha Mam Pashyati Sarvatra. Yaha Mam Sarvatra Pashyati. One who sees, for the one who sees me everywhere. Sarvatra Pashyati. Then Sarvam cha Mayi Pashyati. Sarvam, all things, he sees in me. Sarvam cha Mayi Pashyati. Tasya Aham na Pranashyami. For such a man, Tasya Aham na Pranashyami. I am not going to say disappear from him, or I am not going to disown him, I am not going to fail him, I am not going to fail him. I will always be there with him. Na Pranashyami. Sacha me na Pranashyati. And he will also not fail from me. He will also not move away from me. He will always be with me only. Tasya aham na pranashyami, sacha me na pranashyati. He will also not move away from me. So that is the shloka here. That is the result of such non-dual vision. What is that result of non-dual vision? He is saying. So in the earlier shloka we saw, say Sarvabhutastham Atmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani. We are talking from the point of view of the Jiva. We are talking from the point of view of the sannyasi, talking from the point of view of that sadhaka, the seeker, who has attained that stage and then who is able to see that Brahman. Here we are listening to Lord Krishna himself. So in the earlier shloka we saw the seeker. Here in this shloka we are seeing Brahma. Sorry, we are seeing Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna means he is talking from the position of that Supreme Brahma only. So what does it mean? It means that the seeker and the Brahman are one and the same, and then from that position only, with that understanding only, Lord Krishna is speaking. So he says, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra, one who sees me, one who is able to see me in all things. Mam pashyati, that is seeing everywhere. How is it possible? That is, we know the one word called pratyagatma. Pratyagatma is the Atman, the consciousness indwelling in all things. Pratyak means inside. Pratyak is inside. The Atman, the consciousness which is indwelling in all things, which is the illuminer of all things. Because of that, all things exist. They get satta and spuranam, that is intelligence and existence. They get only because of this Brahman exists. Brahman, sat and chit. So this one should be able to see. Yaha mam pashyati sarvatra. That is in all upadhis. Sarvatra means in all upadhi. Sarvatra means what? I have to see it in this tree. I have to see it in some other animal. I have to see it in some other human being. All these things are upadhis. We also know the word upadhi. Upadhi is a sort of limiting adjunct, what we call it, a limiting factor. A limiting factor for that Chaitanya. Just like that ghatam is an upadhi for Akasha. You take a vessel and then you say that, say there is Akasha in this vessel. Where is this Akasha? You are not going and you are not cutting into slices and you are not putting into this. Akasha is very much there. It is only an upadhi. It looks as though Akasha is conditioned by this. Akasha is delimited by this. Akasha has been made small by this. It looks like that. So, but then Akasha, it is not undergoing any change. So, that is what is an upadhi. We know this thing. So, Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra means in all these upadhis, you are only seeing this Sat and Chit. Sat Chit Rupena. You are seeing this existence and consciousness in all the upadhis. So, that is what it means. Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra. Then Sarvam Cha Mayi Pashyati. And sees everything in me. That is like in the earlier shloka, it was the human being or a Jivan Mukta who was talking. Here it is the Lord who is talking, which means that the Jivan Mukta and the Lord are one and the same. There he is equating with the Jivan Mukta. Then Tasya Aham Na Pranashyami. I will not fail him. I will not leave him. Na Pranashyami. Pranashyami means I will not, literally it means I will not destroy him. Pranashyami. Nashyati means what? That which gets destroyed. I will not get destroyed in his case, nor does he fail from me, nor does he fall away from me, nor does he move away from me. So that is the meaning. That is, Tasya Aham Na Pranashyami. Aham means what? That Ananda Rupa. Aham, when Lord refers to himself, I am that Ananda Rupa. Not that I am always giving him some boons. It does not mean, Tasya Aham Na Pranashyami, it does not mean I will always keep on giving him some boons. Whatever he asks, I will give. It is not like that. Not from that point of view. That particular Ananda, he will always be in that particular state of Ananda. So, let us read the Bhashyam. Is the time over or what?
2 minutes.
2 more minutes. Let us read at least one line. Yo mam pashyati vasudevam sarvasya atmanam sarvatra sarveshu bhuteshu sarvam cha brahmadi bhutajatam mayi sarvatmani pashyati. Okay, let us stop this. Again, this is a very long sentence. We will break here. Yaha mam pashyati vasudevam. So here again there is a clue, Vasudeva. In the very beginning we have seen this word Vasudeva. There are two meanings, Vasati, Sarvatra iti Vasuhu. Vasati means one who dwells. The other meaning was Vasanti Jaganti Asminniti Vasudevaha. All these Vasanti Jaganti Tasminniti Asminniti Vasudevaha. That is, all the worlds exist in him. That is one meaning. Vasati Sarveshu iti Vasuhu. That is, he dwells in all. That is another way of saying. So that is, he is the person who is in all. He means not a person. That is Chaitanya. Whenever we say he, even by mistake, whenever we say he, we are referring to that consciousness only. Vasudeva in the context of Gita means only Shuddha Brahma. Vasudeva in the context of Gita means that Shuddha Brahma, that is consciousness which is existing in all things. Vasudevam, that is the indweller of all. Yaha mam pashyati sarvasya atmanam. So this is the Atma, this is the self of everything. That Vasudeva, that supreme consciousness is the indwelling thing in all. And then Sarvatra, that is Sarveshu Bhuteshu, Sarvam cha Brahmadi Bhuta Jatam Mayi Sarvatmani Pashyati. Then all the Sarva Bhuta Jatam, all the existing beings, all this Bhuta Jatam means all this referring to the whole group, and referring to the whole world of beings, all these things. Mayi Sarvatmani Pashyati. Aham Sarvatma. That is, I am the indweller in all. In me, he sees all. So I think we will stop here. If the time is over, we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.